All right, family, welcome back to another episode. My name is Richard. Once again, I'm here studying for my T8 diesel exam. This whole process is going to be something that I'm recording step by step. There's a number of different certifications that are available for the diesel mechanic. You got the T8, which is about preventative maintenance. You have the S4, which is about brakes. You have the electrical certification as well as a few others. So spend this year kind of just working through that process, getting all those certifications, and looking to go from there. So I'm coming on here on a daily basis. I'm reading a little bit about the books that I do have, or I'm reading a little bit on the study material, and then going from there. So we'll dive a little bit into this. I'll read like a paragraph or so. I'll come back and explain a little bit about what is it that I'm reading. Right now we're talking about just doing the actual preventative maintenance work. It says here steering should be precise and tight. Check that the steering wheel is centered when driving straight and that there is no pulling or wandering. Also feel for any shimmy or vibration through the wheel. While at a standstill, rock the steering wheel back and forth. This not only helps you check for excessive steering free play, but also enables you to listen for any telltale signs of steering linkage problems. Excessive free play can be caused by excessive steering gear backlash or loose steering gear linkage. So what does this mean, right? So we do a lot of preventative maintenance here. So we normally have someone in the driver's seat, and you have someone who is standing on the outside. When it comes to diesel vehicles, they're generally, in terms of semis, buses, and things like that, they're very large vehicles. So you open the hood, and when you open the hood, you can see the tire, and you can stick your head in, and you can see the brake. So when you step on the brake, you rock that thing back and forth, that someone's looking at you at that time period, and they're looking to see if there's any shaking in terms of the vehicle, if there's any issues at all like that. So you get to see if you're rocking the vehicle back and forth and the link itself is not sturdy, it's something you need to tighten up. It might be something that a customer pops in for a quick 15-minute 20-minute check, and realize that, hey, this might take a little bit longer. So I'll read a little bit more. If the vehicle is equipped with power steering, check for a noisy pump or belt, and for smooth power assist. Excessive binding or looseness can be caused by worn steering or front axle components. Wander can be caused by insufficient or unequal caster, camber or toe-in, inadequate lubrication, or excessively worn steering or steering axle components. Shimmy can be caused by unbalanced or out of round tires, wheels, or brake drums, or by play in the steering system. So again, all of the important reasons to have that constant, checking in terms of the preventative maintenance, all these different things. Sometimes you'll have like wearing on the inside of the tire, where it will be like a big loop, a big bump, hills on the inside of the tire. Those are normally pretty dangerous. They'll cause a lot of vibration in the tires. So you would normally get those changed. There is a give and take when it comes to the diesel world, right? So some people, people who are owner operators, a lot of times you're looking to make as much money as you can and spend as least money as you can. Diesel vehicles can be very expensive. If you're driving a semi truck, you have 10 wheels on that particular vehicle that you need to potentially replace maybe twice or 3 times a year, but depending on your preventative maintenance schedule. So with that, you're looking for how can you skip parts, because a lot of things become expensive. You're going to go do a oil change that is 18 quarts that you're using of the potentially 5W40 or whatever, 15W40, I'm sorry, 15W40 or a T6 or something like that, quarts of oil, and that could run you $200-$300 depending on your vehicle. I'm sure some of you guys have spent maybe as much, if not more than that, in terms of vehicle maintenance. You have other components. You have air dryers that need to be replaced after a certain number of mileage. You have the air vent filters and things like that. So there's a number of different things that need to be replaced at different times, and just trying to mitigate the cost is something that is easier generally for a larger business than sometimes for the smaller vehicles that are there. So it says, if conditions permit, accelerate the vehicle to full governed speed and note the top speed. Compare the speed with the specification that was set on the road speed governor. Activate the cruise control if equipped and operate it in all phases. Also, if local laws allow at the proper road speed, engage the exhaust or engine brake if equipped and check for the proper operation. Several times during your road test, verify that the engine oil pressure and temperature are correct. Check service brake application and release. Look for all around smooth braking performance at both low and high speeds, and make sure the truck doesn't pull to one side upon application. When you apply the brakes, they should not drag or pull. Listen for any squeal or chattering that could indicate a problem. Squeal can be caused by glazed or worn linings. Chatter can be caused by defective parts. Pull can be caused by grease on the linings, worn brake drums, incorrect adjustment, or by malfunctioning wheel cylinders. So again, quick over that once again. So it talks a little bit about the braking system, right? So larger vehicles are generally going to use air brakes. So air brakes are a lot, easier than disc brakes. So when you push, you have a push rod, and you have like the slack adjusters. Slack adjusters are going to be part of that process. So it's kind of like so you push down on the brake, and the slack adjuster will push the push rod in against the drum chamber, and when you release it, it should pull back. A lot of times when you're putting on brakes, you're adjusting them down all the way tight, and then you're releasing them one full turn, so about 180 degrees. And sometimes what happens is if you do not release them enough, you'll have the back brake still be dragging. So with it having 8 tires in the back, sometimes 2 of the tires will be well adjusted, the other 2 in the rear may not be well adjusted. So now all of a sudden, because the maintenance was not accurate, someone is pulling that vehicle. 2 of the tires are rolling, the other 2 are not rolling. Now all of a sudden you have brand new tires. You look up 3 weeks come and go, and you're like, yo, what's going on with my tires? They're bald, and all of a sudden that's because of a bad brake adjustment. Here it says drag can be caused by too tight an adjustment, loose wheel bearings, or by malfunctioning wheel cylinders. If equipped with air brakes, make sure the air pressure builds back up to specification after brake application. Brakes should hold properly and release promptly from the stop. So again, that's another one right there. If you equipped with air brakes, make sure the air pressure builds back up. So with air brakes, when you step on the brake, some of the air from that tank is going to be released. So that's another way of knowing for a fact whether or not you have a air leak. Is you build the air pressure up to 120. You will hear the purge valve release some of the air as you cross that 120 psi range. You step on the brake and you hold that, and someone beneath you is able to sit down and listen to see if there's any air leakage. You're also looking at your PSI thermostat. I'm sure it's a different word for it, but I might have said it wrong. But you're looking to see if it's leaking excessive amounts of air. So that's another opportunity where you can check to see what's going on with that one. So it says check the operation of the heater, defroster, and the air conditioner. Operate all the controls. Check for quiet and proper blower operation. If weather permits, check the air conditioner cooling vent temperature, which should match the temperature reading found in the service manual. If the temperature is below specification or it takes too much time to reach specification, check engine RPM. It should be between 1200 and 1500 RPM. If RPM is good, you may need to install manifold gauges for further diagnosis. When you get back to the shop, stop and check the operation of the parking brake. Also, make sure the parking brake indicator light on the dash comes on. At shutdown, turn the key to the off position and check the operation of the engine stop control. The engine should stop immediately. So yeah, so that's a good one right there. So it's a lot, a lot of things that you're learning, right? So if you are coming from a different field and you're realizing ahead of time, I'm not sure exactly where things are going to shake out in terms of his office job. Apocalypse is currently happening. I'm looking to get into the field of the trades. There are opportunities in electrical, there are opportunities in plumbing, but a lot of times, we as people are going to need to move around, and our vehicles need to be repaired. So if you are someone who's looking in terms of getting into the in the automotive, as aka diesel, there's a lot of opportunity because there's basically a lot of vehicles on the road. For the most part, there's 1 to 2 vehicles or so in general per person, maybe more, maybe less than that, but there's a lot of vehicles on the road, and all of those vehicles are needing maintenance. So as we advance more, have more advanced technology, there's going to be a need for people who are more knowledgeable in terms of the specifications, in terms of not just specifications, but also the technology. So whether it's you're going to school, whether it's you're going and learning through the OEM, just having those experiences under your belt is going to be helpful. What are your thoughts on this? If you are in a diesel field, please let me know. Like, share, and subscribe. Again, if you're interested in joining along for this journey, just contact me, say a little bit in the comments. Thank you so much.